Well, he attack me. But Gvns, they have to make the fans them know what really are going on.
Blessings Nation, and now welcome to the channel. Your man Gvns, another one that we can bring on another reasoning on the topic of current affairs. So if you're new to the channel, well, I'm suggesting that you click the subscribe icon and of course, let your voice be heard. Like and share the video, and yes, drop a comment in the comment section. Now, let's get right into the reasoning. Now Nation, it has been exposed by Andrew Holness himself that high-ranking elected officials, cops and businessmen are at the head of the crime and violence taking place on the Jamaican island, seeing that 80% of violent crimes are carried out by illegal weapons and brought in by these individuals. Nation, the Prime Minister was quoted as saying before the strategy was to arrest individuals dealing at the street level, but now the focus has shifted. Now Holness says he wants the big name facilitators, individuals bringing in these weapons through the ports and working with the banks. I'm couldn't hear from the Prime Minister himself, then we'll continue the reasoning. Look and listen.
We know the people who are doing it. Yes, write that statement down. We know. But we're not going to go after one little person. Our strategy is to take down networks.
80% of Jamaica's homicides are committed by the gun.
The customs officer that is facilitating the gun coming through the port. We want to get the man that works in the bank that is allowing the currency to be transferred either into the country or out of the country. We want to get the person who is hiding the guns.
The
Judge of Westmoreland, I appeal to the people, cooperate with their security forces. The people who we have put here to lead the security forces, they have special directions. Those who are the bad apples, they will be moved. And they will be prosecuted when we have the evidence on them.
Anthony Lug, TVJ News.
Yes, Nation, Holness was quoted as saying, a lot of them believe we don't know. But he stated that the state knows because they have improved their intelligence gathering. And he assured the public that arrests will be made. The Prime Minister also stated that the focus is collecting and gathering enough evidence so that strong cases can be brought against these alleged high-level socialites who, being extremely wealthy, can afford the best legal counsel. He also pointed out that the country's crime problem did not happen overnight, and therefore the fix will not happen overnight. And that statement is true. He was also quoted as saying, we are not going to correct this problem in 1 or 2 years, and it's going to take a concerted effort. That is definitely true. And truth be told, if the people of Jamaica, along with the system, the state elected officials, are true to their word and want a better Jamaica for everybody, it can be accomplished. Senseless violence is violence with no clear objective. Crime and violence that take place all across the world. First world countries, third world countries. But think about it. Instances like what take place in Franklin Town. It is clear the later generation has no regard for innocent lives. The Prime Minister was also quoted as saying something very important. He said it would be much easier to accomplish these objectives if we had a national consensus. But political divide creates a space in which criminals can flourish and plan their activities. Some would say that situation goes much deeper. Because think about it. What took place in the 80s election is a part of Jamaica's history, or Jamaica's history, and whether or not we were alive to see what took place, it is clear that political influence had a hand to play in the establishment of the criminal problem we see take place. And of course, there will have to be a role played by the state to help solve the crime situation. But you can also take the effort of the people. You're going to need a strong police force, free of corruption, or of the high level of corruption or where them talk about. You're gonna need more detectives. That's something where the Prime Minister says about evidence being brought against these individuals. Truth be told, it might have not been said by the state, but truth be told, one of the reasons why enough of these high influential individuals, just leave it at that. The reason why cases have never been brought against them is because, for one, lack of evidence. Them know, as what the Prime Minister said, they have known, and have known for quite some time now, these key individuals. But just like you see in the movies, of course, law enforcement know that these individuals are, you know what I mean, involved in such and such activity. But there's never any evidence tying them to things of that nature. Another same situation that take place now. The Prime Minister says, of course, the state knows that these individuals are involved, but them cannot prove it. We might not know who these individuals are, but the individuals tasked with gathering the information clearly know. And I've shared that information with the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister has assured the public that arrests will be made as soon as the right amount of evidence is gathered so that cases can be brought against these individuals. I'm going to feel like a time for the youth them wise up. I see a generation of youth forward up. See them all fly come over here. We see them at the ages, young ages, early 20s, things of this thing. You know the age then. I will say, where them find a way to have a large influx of cash a forwarding. But for some reason, are still drawn into violent crime. Wagwan. Something has to be done before crime and violence becomes cultural. It goes serious when it becomes cultural. We would just feel like, say, at the norm. Them things just happen like normal. In the aim of normalizing traumatic situations, the psyche of the people is affected. Jamaicans watch documentaries about situations where it take place in the Congo and different places in Africa and see how them people can't just get along. Seeing that they are from the same country, same skin color, same everything. Not seeing that these situations are reenacted throughout urban communities on the island on a regular basis. Community versus community, crew versus crew, lane versus lane. Over what we can see is clearly petty conflict. Imagine man jump off on the football field and a whole community get torn apart. You can't think about it? Can you imagine it? Well, many communities have suffered from these very same situations. Whether it be a football match, something will take place at one party, play out. I have reprisals being carried out for years. There are many communities where people grew up and then they got the other part of the community. And these individuals who abide by these regulations will tell us, say, yo, them not really fully know our Gwan. But them man and them man in a link. But the Prime Minister also pointed out something too. In spaces where you have political divides, where one part of the community, I say a certain political party, and a different part of the community, I say something else. Then within these divides, you must say the criminal element can flourish. And basically, are the things that we feel like divide us so that keep the people apart. Meaning, when things happen in one part of the community, it's quick for the next part of the community to say, oh, and I feel them issue to take place up the road. But oftentimes, what we see happen is that eventually the entire community gets engulfed in a whatever take place at the other part of the community. Because it's one community. And the people have ties, whether it be family ties, friendship, you name it. But because of the initial things that people feel like, say, are them differences, whether it be political or whatever the case may be. Well, talk to me, nation. Tell me if you feel like a full time something happen. And the people them where get rich and not prosper for the misery of inner city communities. Come on, yo. A years now them a do this to the inner city. Protege make a song about it. Him say there are individuals that have become extremely wealthy and invested in all different type of things and prospered for the misery of what would take place in the inner city. But if the people seriously can't stop, see it? The youth them say them find a way to make millions. And truth be told, it's hard for you to tell a generation of youth they make so much money for stop unless better opportunities are presented to them. Talk to me in the comment section. And the reason again, you know, sentiments, and for those who don't want to live, love, and prosper, stay tuned.